Navy chief warns China could invade Taiwan before 2024. The top of the U.S. naval force has cautioned that the American military should be ready for the chance of a Chinese intrusion of Taiwan before 2024, as Washington develops progressively frightened about the danger to the island. Chief of Naval Operations Mike Gilday, head of maritime activities, said the U.S. needed to consider that China could make a move against Taiwan a whole lot earlier than even the more skeptical alerts. The discussion in the U.S. about when China could attack Taiwan has strengthened since Chief of Naval Operations Philip Davidson, then head of Indo-Pacific Order, told Congress last year that the Chinese military could make a move against Taiwan before 2027. Davidson's admonition was part of the way minimized at that point, yet authorities have increased their alerts over the course of the last year. And quote, at the point when we discuss the 2027 window, to me that must be a 2022 window, or possibly a 2023 window, end quote, Gilday told the Atlantic Gathering on Wednesday. End quote, I don't mean by any stretch of the imagination to be scaremonger. It's simply that we can't wish that away, end quote. Gilday's remarks came 2 days after U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken said, end quote, not entirely set in stone to seek after reunification on a lot quicker timetable, end quote, in the wake of concluding that the state of affairs was, end quote, presently not okay, end quote. China claims sway over Taiwan and has cautioned Washington not to support favorable to autonomy powers in the country. At the kickoff of the Chinese Socialist Coalition's 20th Congress on Sunday, President Xi Jinping scolded the U.S. for supporting Taiwan as he charged, end quote, outer powers, end quote, of fueling strains across the Taiwan waterway, and proposed external entertainers would bear the responsibility in the event that China felt a sense of urgency to go after the country, highlighting the mounting worry about Chinese military movement close to Taiwan, which has expanded directly following U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's visit to Taipei in August. Joe Biden has on 4 events as president cautioned China that the U.S. would mediate to guard Taiwan from an unmerited assault. We can't rule out anything, but stating that there is a 2022 or 2023 window is sheer speculation. I think it's irresponsible, said Glazer, who was skeptical of the view that China had set a goal to invade by 2027. However, as U.S. officials sound alarms, Congress will before long decide on regulation that would subsidize weapons designation for Taipei. The protection spending bill approves $10 billion north of 5 years in what might be the main instance of the U.S. subsidizing weapons deals to Taiwan. Taipei has recently paid for American weapons that have been supported, available to be purchased by Washington. Taiwanese legislators must strengthen their country's defense and security to protect it from a looming Chinese military invasion, the top American military officer in the Pacific said Monday. The Taiwan Strait remains our most critical concern. U.S. Navy Admiral Harry Harris told Taiwanese military leaders at an annual conference held in the capital Taipei by the American Institute in Taiwan, the U.S. Embassy and Defense Department entity that handles Washington's relations with Taiwan, the official name of the self-ruled island. Harris, who assumed command of the U.S. Navy chief, warns China could invade Taiwan before 2024. China has the capability to launch a successful invasion of Taiwan, said Admiral John Richardson, chief of U.S. Naval Operations. If they can't succeed by 2020, they'll wait until 2024. And they'll be more ready then. The Admiral's warning is not without reason. China has been steadily increasing its military capabilities since the Chinese Revolution in 1949, with a focus on naval power. The country now boasts one of the largest fleets in the world, with an estimated 300 surface vessels and submarines at their disposal. They've also begun building artificial islands in international waters to support military infrastructure. Admiral Richardson suggests that if an invasion is to happen before 2020, it would likely happen this year or next year as Beijing continues to increase its military might. If you look at where we are today and where we'll be in 2020, I don't think there's any doubt about who will win, he said. The only question will be what does China do after it does? Chinese invasion of Taiwan would be catastrophic. The United States Navy chief has warned that China's People's Liberation Army could invade Taiwan by 2025 or earlier. The warning comes as the Trump administration prepares to send 2 warships through the Taiwan Strait for a 4-day transit. This is a move that would anger Beijing, and experts say it is meant to show support for Taipei and deter Chinese aggression in the region. The U.S. Navy Chief, Admiral John Richardson said, "We should be mindful of what could happen if we're too complacent." He went on to say that China would not have invaded yet if they did not believe they had achieved their goal already. If they do invade, Richardson said, it would be catastrophic and cause a significant global conflict. The U.S. would be very hard-pressed to defend Taiwan against China. The U.S. would be very hard-pressed to defend Taiwan against China, to resist a Chinese invasion of Taiwan. That's a fact. The U.S. would be outnumbered and outgunned in the event of an invasion by the People's Liberation Army, he said, adding that Washington's military strategy is not geared towards defending one country but protecting U.S. interests around the world. It is not our job to come to the defense of Taiwan, Swift said, adding that this needs to be clear for both Beijing and Taipei. The Taiwanese government is preparing for war. Taiwanese President Tsai Ing-wen has been working with the U.S. to strengthen defense ties amid a resurgence of tension with Beijing. Taiwanese Defense Minister Feng Shi-quan recently said that the country is on high alert for a potential Chinese invasion. The Taiwan Independence Forces have never stopped their activities and have become more arrogant in their words and deeds, which has had an impact on both sides of the strait. Feng said at a conference in Taipei, "We must be psychologically prepared for the chance of war. I urge the military to train its troops so they can maintain peak combat effectiveness over time. My goal is not to enter into another nation's territory, but if we are attacked we will counterattack immediately," Feng said. The U.S. Navy chief warned that China could invade Taiwan before 2024 as relations between Washington and Beijing sour. The warning comes days after Taiwanese officials cautioned against any attempt by China to forcibly annex the island nation as it does other territories it claims as its own, including South Tibet. China has been increasing its military presence near Taiwan. China has been increasing its military presence near the island nation of Taiwan in the past few years. Just last week, it was revealed that a Chinese warship had sailed into Taiwanese waters for the first time since 2007. The United States Navy chief's warning comes as tensions between China and Taiwan are at their highest since 1949, when Mao Zedong founded the People's Republic of China on mainland territory that had been occupied by Chiang Kai-shek's forces. Following World War II, if an invasion does happen, Yang says Taiwan needs to be prepared for more than just an immediate land invasion. He also wants his country to be ready to defend against sea attacks from the South China Sea or even cyber attacks directed from Beijing. It will not be one monolithic event, he said. It will happen across multiple domains.